Hello and welcome back to Disco Elysium. Now, you have no chance of having actually seen it at this point, but I solved the whole thing with the furnace. I did that in an episode that's gonna come out today when this is streaming, but I didn't do anything story relevant, so don't worry about it. Alright, now, what kind of quests do we have? We could pick up some things from the dice maker, yes, but we have to wait for that. Get ourselves organized by sniffing out some comrades. Could help sooner, but we need a stat upgrade for that, I think. Cell refuses to talk about her friends. Maybe she'll open up later. After we help her set up the nightclub, yes. Noid doesn't want to talk to you. The signs are not in sync. Guess you need to help him and his friends out somehow. Yeah, sure, that's the same thing. That's again the same thing. Egghead puzzle. We have to somehow manage to talk to him. We could inspect the traps, yes. We could find the working class husband, etc, etc. Okay, so there's quite a few things we could do right now. I'm saving that up for the skill check we need to listen into the void again. So odds are better, but I think we can start this off relatively chill by talking to Joyce about reality for a bit. Let's hear her out about what's going on in this world. What's this?
There. Do you smell that?
Smell what?
Can you not detect that inimitable whiff of dissatisfaction and restlessness? That sense that the world is in need of dramatic, even violent reordering?
Well, close our eyes and take a deep breath.
What do you smell? The first thing that strikes you is the overwhelming brine. You imagine yourself underwater, a 100-legged arthropod scuttling along the murky silt at the bottom of the sea. But then, the unmistakable reek of seagull shit hits you, buoyed along on the air currents, an acrid melody atop mouldering cords of wood rot and heavy fuel oil.
Everything in order, detective?
It's kind of a personal errand. I'm smelling for communists, Kim. I'm working on developing my political consciousness, just taking in the morning air like a normal detective. Let's not bother him with our own things we've got going on. Let's just pretend to be, you know, not doing something strange for 1 second.
There's a lot to take in, isn't there?
The lieutenant wrinkles his nose.
Without a doubt. Your politico-olfactory cortex doesn't deceive you. The smell is coming from that balcony over there.
You mean from Cindy?
Certainement. A precocious communist youth. A symbol of a kinder, more hopeful future. Now's your chance to establish contact with your revolutionary brothers and sisters.
Soon. First we're gonna talk to Joyce. Then we can talk to Cindy the Skull again. Maybe we can talk about the weird guys that looked at our car.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
I've got some more questions about reality, please.
More lessons in basic reality? My favorite part of the day. Go ahead, ask me anything.
Je m'avoue, thought complete, so plus 12, plus 2 for Dolores Day, we can conceptualize.
What is all of this? The scent, the sound, the air.
What world is this?
What world? The only one, I suppose. The world of matter. And its pale antipode.
The camera of her mind glides over the surface of the water.
Do you see something, or we could say nothing? Let's just have her continue. Let's not interrupt her.
Great bodies of water. Forest-covered surfaces. Clusters of light where the cities lie. You've seen the montage. We all have. This world is enough. There is a term of endearment they coined for it, in the DeLorean century, when humanity was high on this world, discovering more and more of it, these archipelagos included.
What is it?
Elysium.
Elysium. The world needs a term of endearment. This world does not deserve a term of endearment. Let's be positive for now.
It does. There are those who would call it hell.
And what is hell?
A term of hatred that originates, like many such things, with the Mesk petro-fascists.
I don't feel like I have the whole picture yet. I've got a clear picture. Let's proceed to another term. No, I want to know more about that.
Oh, you want a picture of the world? There is no complete set yet, dear. They're having some trouble reaching orbit.
Oh, how come?
Great things are difficult to achieve. For now, we're viewing the world from the inside, sideways.
Inside sideways? What shape is this world then?
We used to think it was a sphere, but that is beginning to look less and less likely by the day. You wouldn't know it from the tabloids, but the ORG nations have been launching weather balloons into the lower ionosphere since the 30s.
ORG, Occident Revachol Grad.
There's a steadily increasing trickle of images. Between the big three scientific contributors, they're piecing together a dark grey corona.
A dark grey corona?
Yes. Pale covers 72% of the surface. There are grey flares and prominences, even arcs above entire isolas. The images are blurry, but if there was a sphere in there, it certainly looks like it fractured a long time ago.
A cold fear seeps into you.
Oh my god, wait, what the hell are you telling me? The Pale? And what do you mean corona?
They say there is a rarefied envelope of matter surrounding the darkened disk of our planet. That is, if we are still living on a planet. Or, to speak more plainly, imagine vast swathes of land disrupted by nothingness. I am sorry, dear. It must sound quite terrifying through the acute encephalopathy. Even scientific positivism isn't entirely convinced about what we're dealing with here. But this is one of the greatest questions of our time. Maybe when they get the complete set together, it will jolt us out of our rut, bring us together, however naive it may sound.
A fractured corona doesn't feel like it's gonna bring anyone together. Okay, and then everything will be okay? Let's just ask the naive question.
I don't know about things of that scale. My expertise lies in nations and trade routes, one or several layers below everything. But yes, we'll be fine. Don't worry.
Okay.
She does not seem convinced that you'll be fine. If anything, she's realizing how deep your condition runs.
It certainly doesn't feel like I'm fine. Thanks. Okay. Okay, forget all this stuff. Let me ask something else. Let's just say thanks. Okay.
You may have misimagined it. I don't have the power to convey to you the effect and geometry of the images that depict our world from below low orbit. It's like the crowning of the world. It's insane. Very disco. You'd love it.
Well, if you say it's disco. Doesn't sound like any kind of disco I'd like to go to. I don't care about disco, I only care about the commune. If you say it's disco...
See? Everyone finds something worth holding on to in this world, however wasted its opportunities.
The cold seeps into you. The air is heavy with 80% humidity. Suddenly, you're conscious of yourself standing there, on whatever this all is. Your arms hang down by your sides. The lieutenant observes you both, silently. He adjusts his glasses.
You said pale. What is pale?
The Pale is not, technically speaking, part of reality.
Yes. Also, I think we've had enough excitement for today. We do have a case to attend to.
Yes, in a second, Kim.
Of course, Lieutenant. Let's try something else.
I don't want to. I want to know what the Pale is. What do you mean it's not part of reality? It's not part of reality, yeah?
Ma'am, Remember, you are dealing with a very sensitive and impressionable police officer who is still recovering from a recent medical episode.
The lieutenant's right. Let's change topics. What do you want to know? Anything.
Okay.
You could sneak back later when the lieutenant is not here, unless you can convince him to step aside.
I'll do that later. I asked about the RCM, I think. What times are these?
These are unimportant times, Detective. You and I were born after the dust had settled. 1,000th of a second too late.
Too late for what?
For the big time.
Her eyes light up, there's a flash of teeth. What's the big time?
The revolution.
Ha! And what is this revolution I keep hearing about?
It's quite easy. Every 100 years or so, our species gets together to decide what's next, who gets shot in the head, and who gets the mineral rights. It's a real kerfuffle.
Who got shot in the head?
Those would be the communists. Generally speaking, 40 million people got shot in the head during the World Revolution. But the communists, they all got shot in the head. Oh, and the anarchists too. They shot them well. So well, one forgets they even existed.
She likes the totality of it.
You could say they got totally shot in the head. Did the communists and the anarchists shoot back?
Did they ever? Before they got shot themselves, they shot 2 million people.
Truly a kerfuffle. That's a tragedy. Sounds like they should have shot more people in the head then. Let's say truly a kerfuffle.
Yeah, it was a kerfuffle, all right.
The lieutenant mumbles from behind his notes.
Yes, the Insulindian deluge, they call it.
Anyone else got shot in the head on the opposite side?
Oh, lots of people. Even the king got shot in the head, or thrown beneath a horse, or drowned. Accounts differ. It was unceremonious. Just as well, he wasn't actually the king. Just the king's nephew. The real king abdicated and lived out a long and productive life as a venture capitalist in Grad.
Smart king, cowardly king, I love that king, fucking communists, I don't care about kings. Tell me one more thing. I mean, it's honestly a smart move and a cowardly move in a way. Let's say cowardly king.
I prefer the term risk-averse. King Guillaume was nobody's fool. He could smell a PR disaster brewing, so he got out alive, and his nephew Fricelle got shot in his place. Him and tens of thousands of his wonderfully fascist kingsmen. It was a wild time.
Who got the mineral rights?
The liberals got the mineral rights. And by mineral rights, I mean everything.
Okay, and by liberals you mean...
Liberals are usually middle-class people, Detective. Or the remaining gentry. The beneficiaries of the pre-revolutionary arrangement. Some were rich enough to stay with the Constitution, with monarchy. Big mistake. Others bet on the revolution. They were called the ultras, or ultra-liberals. They fared well.
How did the liberals win it all?
They didn't win so much as survive. We were the last ones standing when the war ended. Everyone else got shot in the head, remember?
We. She's one of them. Of course.
If everyone got shot, who was there to surrender to?
To foreign intervention. The coalition. Those people really took the mineral rights.
Wait, you just said the liberals already took everything. Or who are the coalition? You said the liberals already took everything?
The liberals took everything that wasn't nailed to the ground. The coalition took the ground. The ocean, the laws, and the people.
And who are the coalition?
The coalition of nations. Grad, Mesk, Vesper, Messina, Oranje, and Sur-la-Clay. The armed center of the world. They landed here and ended the revolution. It was the moralist thing to do.
Moralist?
The moralists believe in keeping everything exactly the way it is. They believe in mineral rights, and not shooting people in the head. At least not in the same manner and volume as the others do. They are the long-standing provisional rulers of Revachol now, the coalition government.
The rulers of Revachol, and also the world. These guys are strong.
This is their zone of control. They embolden the RCM with crumbs of the same law they took. Technically speaking, you are a moralist.
Damn.
The color of moralism is blue. The official motto of Moral Intern, or Moralist International, is a blue forget-me-not, a piece of grey sky. Unofficial. For a moment, there was hope.
I don't think I'm a moralist, ma'am. Not just technically, practically. For a moment, there was hope. If always picking the option that doesn't commit to anything, then hell yes. And also, hell yes, I am, and also not. I don't think I'm a moralist.
Of course. Not easy to be moderate about head shooting in your line of work.
Rooty tooty, pointy shooty.
Well, I guess we're gonna say that then.
That's the way of history.
When was this kerfuffle?
The turn of the century revolution? Don't answer it. It's a trick question. The revolution began in '02 on the Isla of Grad, though by the end nearly the whole world had gotten involved.
And who started it?
It wasn't a who, but a what. A pandemic of Zarat, a particularly virulent prion disease, which the authorities in Grad proved unable to contain. Then Mazov came along and overthrew the government.
What did this Sarath do?
It made people overthrow their governments.
Well, really?
Of course not. It was a highly infectious microorganism that destroyed brain tissue. The actual causes of the revolution were material. The pandemic only provided the spark.
It was a funny time in history. They discovered transistors and rock music, but they didn't know anything about prions. Nobody did.
Where did it spread from there?
From Revachol and Grad? Not far. The world managed to cauterize itself. Mazov's government was overthrown in '08, and the coalition crushed the Revachol commune 2 years later. It was the end.
And what came next?
Why? You and I, officer. Our lives in the zone of control.
What is the zone of control?
A city-state divided into free market zones under the everlasting interregnum of the Coalition of Nations. And you, of course, the citizens' militia.
The clatter of typewriter keys fills the main hall of the reappropriated silk mill. Precinct 41. Chad Tilbrook presses enter. Outside, Officer Elfboy Williams slams the door of an armored motor carriage.
The zone of control is the third incarnation of Revachol, after the failure of the suzerain and the commune.
What happened to the rest of the world?
Modernity. They developed the marvels of the inter-easlary communication. Telematic milieus, radiation, colored plastics. Meanwhile, in Revachol West, the aftermath continues for the 5th decade.
51 minus 8 equals 43.
Wait, you're saying it's been like this for 43 years? It's been like this for how long exactly? Okay, for 43 years.
Time flies.
What have we been doing all that time? That's it. That's it then. Another topic. What have we been doing all this time?
The 20s saw a decade of urban war, west of the river leveled, offshore platforms in flames. Still, it's regarded as an improvement on what came before. '08 to '19 was simply hell.
And after that?
The 30s? Things settled down in the 30s. Revachol East transformed itself into the world's largest tax haven, with the international community's blessing. For the first time in a long time, It seemed like things were going somewhere.
All that untaxed income must have fueled the new. That can only mean one thing.
That's when they discovered disco.
Yes, and quantitative easing. It was a market mirage, unfortunately. The 40s dispelled it. An Isla-wide hangover, you might say. So, here we are.
She curtsies.
Welcome to reality, baby.
Another skill point, so now I have 2 ready. So I'm gonna spend 1 just the way I want to, and I'll save 1 for the skill check in the Old Abandoned Church.
For her to be where she is, Wild Pines Group must have picked the right side.
Which side was Wild Pines Group on?
They picked the winning side. That's why they're here, and others are not.
They got lucky.
Perhaps it wouldn't have turned out that way had I been in charge. I might have bet on the king and led the Pines to doom.
You would have sided with the king?
I would have sided with the cannons. If you'd seen the calibers of the things, you might have too. Perhaps it's better I was born when I was. 10 of the 14 Indo tribes got it wrong. Feld, Kupri, Tricentennial. So I suppose I would have been in good company.
What would you have done differently?
Good question. What would you have done differently?
I asked you, who are you in all this? I would have sought a medical solution. Sounds like Tsarath drove those people mad. I would have killed more, 400 million, if that's what it took. I would have positioned myself very precisely. I would have made it out with the mineral rights. I don't know what I would have done differently. I mean, I think once prions are in a brain, it's like very difficult to impossible to get it out, right? Mad cow's disease is one of those, like Creutzfeldt-Jakob, that sort of thing. That's, I think, uncurable. So I don't know what you would do really. You could try to, you know, stop the spread in ways, but I don't know how that stuff spreads specifically. So, but yeah, let's try for a medical solution.
A cold creeps up your spine, reaching its tendrils up your neck, toward the back of your head.
So a quarter of humanity simply lost their minds. And how would you stop a prion? A complex folding protein, unlife, with a technology 50 years ago.
With some hygiene, modest social care, and perhaps a little research program. Liquidate the rabid, prion-infested dogs. Okay, that's not a good thing to say. Who want to kill everyone? With cleansing artillery fire. With privatized healthcare and a work ethic that does not turn your brain into sponge tissue. Okay, maybe it's impossible. What happened had to happen and always will. Yeah, I honestly don't know how it spread then, so I don't know if that would have worked, but probably not. They probably tried that. Maybe it's impossible.
The wind stops, and for a moment, there's silence. The charge dissipates into the dark water. All is quiet on the Martinez inlet. A dog barks. A gunshot echoes off the walls of some distant building. A woman's voice.
Always.
Okay.
Always. That's the can't-do attitude that truly defines late modernity. You may prove a modern man yet.
Opinions expressed here do not reflect the official position of the RCM.
And what is your official position, Lieutenant?
My position, ma'am? My parents got ripped to shreds in the revolution. I would have gone the same way. I was saved by being 2 years old. That's my position. The abattoir.
Understandable.
Okay, that's enough about the
They
times.
are what they are. Who knows? An afterbloom may yet come. Anyway, enough sentimentality. Is there anything else you want to know?
Not so fast. Who is she in all this? Ask her who she is. She owes you an answer.
Okay, fine. I want to know what you are. She hums.
She won't maneuver her way out of this one.
What are you?
I am the vilest of the vile. A traitor. A devourer of nations and infants. I am an ultra.
She raises the corner of her mouth, smirking, revealing a canine.
Wait, what's an ultra? We already had that? Dios mio, drawing a cross, a liberal. Cool, I liberate pretty hard myself. I don't understand what's so vile about that. Let's do the funny one.
Yes. I am the nether creature of the Forbidden Swamp. I pushed the king under a shit wagon and betrayed the revolution. My kind surrendered the nation to financial colonists. I can see you thought we'd gone extinct. After all, no sane person identifies as an ultra-liberal anymore. Not in broad daylight. You're a centrist at heart. A real moralist, no? Tell me, now that I've uncoiled myself, do you find me frightening?
In her green eyes, you see a mixture of truth and self-satire. Decades of guilt and pride.
You're a monster, I forgive you, but only because you're charming, or I don't care. I think that would I don't care would probably be the coldest one, right? I don't care.
A fitting punishment. To be forgotten, if not forgiven. Save a prayer for us in our chateaus on Ozon and in Stella Maris. When the dust settled, the liberals were the only ones left to clean up the mess. By virtue of their survival, they were handed enormous power to shape the future. This was all our last generation managed.
Would you have done something differently?
With due respect to our overlords, the eternal caretaker government that keeps Martinez a monument to the efficacy of its artillery.
While a gentle wind sweeps the streets in the rebuilt east, light drizzle washing it clean, lights go up and motor carriages circulate the tracks.
I would not have relinquished sovereignty to the Coalition. Not here in Martinez, and not in the Stella Maris or Delta Beachheads either. If not for my own sake.
She realizes her small, cold fists are clenched. She loosens them.
Then for my daughters. We had an obligation to defend our sovereignty. We should have burned the whole Isla down rather than let them have it.
You have daughters? Let's just
Yes,
keep it up right now.
whatever else I am. I'm also a mother. And a wife.
Okay, we'll return to that.
Shall we return to reality?
Oh, we could. We'll do that later. I think that was
Glad
enough.
to have been of assistance. The little that I know. Anything else?
Let's keep it at that. I mean, we've talked enough about reality for one day, I think. I mean, those talks always take a long time. We can go up there and talk to the skull and see what she has to say. So how do we navigate our way up there again? Okay, so it's not that. No, wait, it's not that balcony, right? That's not it. That's the exit out there. No, it must be somewhere else. That's the balcony for the smoker's room. It'd have to be on the other side then, I think. Ah, right, there's another balcony. That should do nicely. There we are. Okay.